So I remember playing my very first game of chess, and that was in the 4th grade. I had just moved to Canada from Germany. My dad was in the army, and the day I started school was the day I started learning how to play chess. The first subject matter that we had was math. Logic was the first chapter, and chess was obviously the first part of logic. And so for my first day of school in a Canadian school, I got to play a game, and I got hooked. I remember going home to my dad that night and explaining to him about the game that they taught us at school. And I remember my dad saying to me that he knows all about chess and quickly brings out a few books on the matter and has me start reading them. Turns out he was a proficient chess player in his youth and traveled through Europe doing tournaments. So that's like a common bond we shared that we didn't have before. So he started having me study. I remember that year we had the school tournament to see who would go to the local tournament, and then from the local tournament you go regional, and then from the regional you go to provincial to national, etc. And I remember that year I made it. So I made it to the next level. I was done. I beat everybody in school basically who had played me, and that was super validating and encouraging, and it made me want to, keep going and keep learning. Grade 5, so I was about 11 at the time. I remember my dad buying me my very first automated chessboard. My automatic robot chessboard was a Kasparov, and man, I played with that thing. I beat that thing up so badly. There's pieces missing at the end, and I had to replace them with I remember using coins. I really wore that thing out, but that thing had 8 batteries in it, and when you got past level 12, the computer would take a half hour per move to think, and you could force a move if you pressed a button, but that was kind of like cheating, so you had to wait it out. But turns out after 4 or 5 of those moves, the batteries would die out, so I was kind of stuck at level 12, never got past that. But that year I remember going to the regionals and winning first. I got first in the regionals, my first chess medal. So I went on to the provincials, which so this was in New Brunswick. This is a East Coast sort of province. So then I went on to provincials, where I eventually came 4th, which wasn't too bad. So 4th best at my age range for boys in that province. But it was before that, in the regionals, when I had just gone on a 5-0. I'd won 5 games, all my 5 games, no losses. I was feeling pumped. I was really on top of the world. It was probably one of the greatest feelings that I had as a chess player and as an individual. To find something that you're good at and that you excel at, and that you get praised for at such a young age is changing, is life changing. You feel a sense of, oh, this was meant for me. I was meant to play this game. But after I'd won that, I had my medal, a big fat medal, and I remember going back. It was in a cafeteria. I think it was in a college or a school or some sort in Fredericton, the capital of New Brunswick. And then we sat down at this table with my dad, and I was feeling so stoked. And I had just finished chatting with all my chess buddies who I meet throughout the tournaments. And this lady walks up, and she has her son, and so I might have been 11 at the time. He couldn't have been older than 7, 6. He was so little. I remember him being so small. And I remember the mother saying to me that he was too young for this tournament, if I wouldn't mind playing a game against her son. And of course, I just won the tournament, so I'm feeling all sorts of selflessness and so humble. I'm like, oh, of course I would play him. It would be my pleasure, And so we sit down. He has black, I have white. I start e4. Game goes on. And about halfway through, he starts taking, and he starts putting me in positions that I didn't expect. And lo and behold, I got my ass handed to me royally. It was a complete destruction. And I remember forfeiting and shaking his hand saying thank you. And they left. The mom just got the kid, she congratulated him, and they just left on. But that stuck with me so much. Chess is such a competitive game. You can't help feeling angry or frustrated when losing. If you're a competitive player in chess, it is frustrating. I remember it bringing me to tears in tournaments when I'd lose a game and go to my mom and dad, and I was in the 5th or 6th grade, and I was in tears because it was so emotional. There was so much pressure, but yet you wanted that feeling, that winning feeling back. And losing at chess is almost like a blow to your intellect, almost like you've got outsmarted, and now everybody knows it, and that really sticks with you. So after that game, the smile that I had, the stature, everything that I had gained from winning that tournament was flushed away in a matter of seconds, a matter of minutes. I remember feeling depressed, angry, frustrated, and I had just won a medal. I just came first in the regionals. That is huge. And yet I was beaten up. I was really beaten up. And if there's one thing that I take away from that is, no matter how good you are, no matter how good someone is, no matter how many things they have to their name, how many accomplishments, how many feats or trophies or medals or certificates, or how much praise or anything, how popular they may be, any of that, anyone can win at any given time. I think I learned more from that loss than I did from 1,000 wins, and that's something that I still take with me today. And so every loss I consider, it sounds cliche, but I do consider it a lesson, and a lesson in humility, a lesson in judgment and perception, and also a lesson in character. So that was my little skit about my beginning in chess.